Family. What's it all about? Love? Duty? Obligation? Respect? All of those things and more. Family is the bedrock of civilization, and one of the most beautiful aspects of the family is the bond between a father and his son. The father being able to pass on to his admiring son the knowledge and skills of how to raise a family, of how to be a productive member of society, and some of the best memories that the son will carry with himself as he moves through life will be those involving the times he spent in the presence of his dad. It's a wonderful thing. But what happens when the relationship between father and son becomes so fractious, becomes so distorted and warped that something which should be amazing is laid out as a nightmare, as a cautionary tale of where a family should not venture, of how not to behave when assuming the respective father-son roles? This is going to be a case study for the breakdown of a father-son relationship. Allow me to introduce to you the two subjects of this study, two figures, Jahans and Keith, the father of Jahans. This is Keith, and Keith is best described in his own words. This is taken from his website, petemore.com. Keith Jahans was born in Bristol in July 1948, and he left Bristol in 1967 to study applied biology in Barking, Essex. He moved to Surrey in 1969, where he now lives and works. He has gained a membership of the Society of Biology and a Master's in Immunology at the University of London. In 2008, he retired from his post at the Veterinary Laboratories Agency, where he led a small team of scientists involved in the diagnosis of bovine tuberculosis in animals, and was also the VLA's designated international expert on bovine tuberculosis for the World Animal Health Organization. Keith now concentrates on his fiction writing and lives in Woking, England, with his wife and 2 children. The key points to harvest from that are that A. Keith is retired, B. He's a clever guy, and C. He is not, I repeat, not Mike Tyson. That last point is one I want you to keep with you, keep at the forefront of your mind's eye as we move through this case study. And this is Jahans. Now, 2 things you need to know about Jahans before we continue any further. Number 1, he's a prolific content creator on the internet. He puts out lots of videos on YouTube, writes a lot of blogs, is constantly tweeting, updating his Facebook. He's a prolific fellow. And the main angle that all of these streams of content take is that of a left-wing liberal point of view. So Jahans is always infusing his left-wing bias, as it were, into everything he produces, which is a lot of things. Now, the second thing that you need to know before we carry on is that Jahans has Kallmann syndrome. In short, that meant he didn't really go through puberty, and he has, in his own words, less testosterone than the average woman. And this is important, because the Kallmann syndrome is responsible, in large part, for Jahans sporting a pair of, not to put too fine a point on it, breasts. Okay, if this seems like a bit of information overload before we embark on our little case study, let me boil it down. Jahans is a prolific left-wing figure on the internet, and he has Kallmann syndrome. And these 2 aspects of his character marry up quite succinctly in a video he uploaded which gained him a lot of attention. Let's play an extract from that.
You know, you're just really bringing home that the Green Party is the best party in the world and that UKIP are full of racist cunts. I mean, you're just really kind and supportive, and I love that. I really, really do. So, because I love you guys and because I know that you've requested them, I'm gonna show you what you've all been asking for. Here, feast upon my grotesque body horror tits. Feast upon them. Wank off, UKIP voters. Wank off to my grotesque tits. I give you these, UKIP voters. Wank off to me now. You know it makes sense. Vote Greens. And remember, fuck those fucking racist fucking arsehole Nazi UKIP voters. You know it makes sense. And that's right, lads. Have a good wank on me. You know it makes sense.
Okay, so that's Jahan's, and I hope that you now have at least a base level understanding of the sort of surreal character that Jahan's is. Now we can actually begin to focus on the relationship between father and son, between Keith and Jahan's.
I'm jealous, I'm overzealous. When I'm down, I get real down. When I'm high, I don't come down. I get angry, baby, believe me. I can love you just like that, and I can leave you just as fast. But you don't judge me.
Well, we're gonna test that.
If you did, baby, I would judge you too.
I am a scientist and I am a fan of science. So we are going to test it, ladies
if you
and
did,
gentlemen.
baby, I would judge you too. Cause I got issues, but you got them too. So give them all to me and I'll give mine to you. Bask in the glory of all our problems. Cause we got the kind of love it takes to solve them. Yeah, I got issues, and one of them is how bad I need you.
And we start the timeline at an incredibly fitting moment for examining a familial relationship. We begin at the Christmas of 2009. At the start of the extract, we can hear Jahan's beloved mother inquiring in the background about who wants what for Christmas dinner. And we are then treated to our only audible example of Keith being somewhat aggressive. You may have to strain your ears as it's all in the background, but Keith is irked by having lost his keys, and so he shouts, "I bloody did!" And one suspects that bloody is the height of Keith's swearing prowess. And it's worth noting before we dive in that Jahan's is 18 years old in this extract that I'm about to play. 18 years old.
You want a jacket potato and quiche and salad?
Well, that's rather disappointing, but never mind. We will soon be having Christmas Eve dinner. Catch up with you then. Ooh, Christmas Eve. Sorry. All a bit mad. Turns out we're missing ham and salad and a phone. But whatever. Ooh, Fluffy Jack. Can't wait to eat that. That will be very lovely, yes. These are all of the carefully prepared preparations, which you shall hopefully see us eating tomorrow and God wants. So basically, this is going to be the Christmas vlog. We're going to have Christmas Eve, this is it. And then tomorrow, Christmas Day, you'll hopefully be able to see us unwrapping the presents, eating Christmas dinner. I'm not trying to cut out the inevitable embarrassing stories that arise from drink and food. But there we go. Now, obviously I may forget, so please don't worry. It is Christmas, so I may forget and stuff may not be seen and blah blah blah. But anyway, whatever. Welcome to my Christmas vlog, and sorry, this is not going to be a good one because my family's going to be in it. Thus, it won't be planned. La 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 la.
Jahans then moves to his living room, where he is in the presence of his mother and father. Keith is trying to find something to watch on the television. Jahans frequently pans the camera to show Keith's reserved, middle-class frustration. Then, off-camera, Jahans is asked to stop filming Keith, as he likely wants to focus on the much-searched-for Emmerdale Christmas special. After another jump cut, we then see Keith move through the background of Jahans' vlog with a bowl of Christmas leftovers, which he intends to gorge on as he makes his way through the ITV Christmas schedule.
So it's 30 minutes before Christmas Eve dinner, and we've hit a lull in the day, to be honest, because it's kind of bugger all on Christmas because of stupid schedulers of the BBC not putting anything decent on. Ooh, this is even more exciting than what they've got on telly at the moment. That is how bad the telly is at the moment. There's a little catty on the fish tank. Yes. Such a beautiful little cat. We may have noticed some awkward cuts in the film. Certain family members have suddenly revealed they don't want to be in the vlog after all.
But your vlog is going to be you telling people.
Hello and welcome back. We've had lunch. I had a lovely jacket potato with venison burger. Tap for this time of year. And dessert of homemade flapjack. Very nice. See you later. Hello. Just now 40 to 8. And a combination of a bit of brandy butter and about that much of red wine has already got me feeling a bit tipsy because I never ever drink alcohol.
Now, what was the importance of starting here at the Christmas of 2009? Well, the recorded events of that occasion provide our only filmed interaction of Keith and Jahans. It is really our only objective view of the two interacting in the natural habitat. And contrary to later accounts that we will hear of the relationship, it does not seem as though Keith is in any shape or form abusive, or is a hulking monster of any kind. Instead, the impression given is of an elderly man who's quietly and reservedly reading a newspaper, watching television, and retrieving snacks. All the while, his son is prattling into a camera about nonsense. The shape of things to come, indeed. We now jump to October of the following year, and Jahans is now 19 years old, and a little scuffle is hinted at between Jahans and Keith about whether or not Jahans will get the grades for entry into a university.
Otherwise, what's the point? You know, I mean, my dad is very much a what the point person. You know, if there's no point in it, he doesn't give a shit. He's not gonna bloody bother. You know? He bloody had a row with it yesterday over university because he thought I wouldn't be able to get the grades to get in. It's just like, what's the point in applying it? Can you imagine if he took the same attitude to, you know, the world around us?
Now let's take a step back from Jahans and turn our attention to Keith. As mentioned prior, Keith is a self-published author, and part of self-publishing is also taking up the mantle of advertising your own work. These go hand in hand. So here we are, in 2011, here we are, seeing Keith upload a video to his own YouTube channel where he seems to be assuming the part of a character that features in one of the books that he has written and self-published.
Hello, Tony. Thank you for giving me the opportunity for this interview prior to your show. Hello, everybody. I am Frank Whittleworth, resident poet at Coggrell's Mill, Mucklesbury. I am delighted to have this opportunity to tell you about the work we're doing there. We have wonderful sculptors, painters, photographers, all gathered together by the kind permission of the owners, the gorgeous Victoria Glow, and that stout fellow, George Coggrell. You should taste his cider. Absolute nectar. Is that okay? Thank you.
Let me give you my impression of Keith. This is an elderly man, retired, who has finally given up what must have been a very high-stress job in order to focus on his creative endeavours. Put simply, this is an old man having some fun before he sheds his mortal coil, and more power to him. Now, Jahans doesn't just make videos. He also writes a lot and puts a lot on his blog. And one of these writings hails from 2013, and it has incredible significance as we move further into this case study. The particular article that I wish to draw attention to is a poem that Jahans wrote in 2013, and it's about Keith. For want of a few pizza boxes. For want of a few pizza boxes the father picked a fight. For want of a few pizza boxes the son rebelled. For want of a few pizza boxes the father shoved the son so hard into the desk that his monitor toppled. For want of a few pizza boxes the son was terrified. For want of a few pizza boxes the father played mind games. For want of a few pizza boxes the son felt like crap. For want of a few pizza boxes the father scared the son into submission. For want of a few pizza boxes the son counted the ways he could hurt the father. For want of a few pizza boxes the father considered the son an abhorrent, villainous failure. For want of a backbone, the son backed down. For want of a few pizza boxes, the father denounced his son. For want of a few pizza boxes, the son trashed his own guitar in an attempt to show the father how much worse he could be. For want of a few pizza boxes, the father was a bully. For want of a few pizza boxes, the son was trapped, crying in his room, lied to by his mother, claiming them both as bad as one another. And we stay in 2013 on a video that Jahans produced in April of that year. The extract starts with one of Jahans' university roommates confronting him about Jahans not flushing the toilet. Jahans then likens this event to experiences with Keith. He relates the story of the pizza boxes in a less poetic fashion.
I woke up this morning and I was pissed. I was very, very pissed. I was angry. I was not in a good mood. So I went to the loo, came back, and I was just like, right, fucking computer. And then my mate comes in and he's going all like Stormageddon, you know, like freaking Doctor Who when the Pandorica opens on me. He's just like, dude, what the fuck have you done? You've not flushed the toilet, have you? And just then, with a spark of rage, of hatred, and I realised, right, no, you've got a fair point. There's two ways to kind of make me hate someone. The first way is kind of like what my mate was doing, which is when you take something that's a fair issue and blow it up out of proportion and act really severely pissed off about it. You know, like like my dad, it was ridiculous, was this kind of thing, you know, in that, like, there was this one time over Christmas where it was like, when we do the shopping, I get pizzas, okay, and I pick the pizzas up from the freezer station and I put them back and what have you, but it's my mum who does the packing and the buying of the pizzas because, well, I'm a fucking student. And because she's trying to pack the pizzas in the freezer, and it's not that big a freezer, she removes the pizza boxes and leaves them on the side. And then Mum went out somewhere. And I was just busy minding my own business in my room, playing on my computer or something, and then just suddenly, Dad barges into the room, throws the pizza boxes there, and "Here your fucking pizza boxes!" And it's just like, a big buddy? Because that kind of, that is the best example really for the kind of hatred, for the reason, for what makes me hate someone. It's that kind of overblown reaction. Just, you've left some pizza boxes downstairs! Ah! You will have them back, you horrible, disgusting son of a bitch! Ah! Well, no, he wouldn't have said son of a bitch because, well, he knows I'd be insulting my mother, but still. If you're like, you fool, what you doing with the fucking pizza boxes, man? Then I'm just gonna say, hate you, bye-bye. You know. I know I shouldn't. I know it should just be, oh, well, they're talking about something fair. That, you know, it is just pizza boxes. I can just put the pizza boxes in the bin. It's like 5 minutes work. I can't, you know, it's a second to flush the toilet. But because they're being the alpha male about it, because they're being like, yo, dude, you got a problem. Cause you gotta bloody clean this toilet, you know what I mean? Then I'm just like, no, I hate you, stay away from me.
Try to understand the story of the pizza boxes from Keith's vantage point. He's trying to find room in the freezer for a 6-pack of dark chocolate magnums, his favourite. Usually there isn't any space because the freezer shelves are stacked to the brim with pizzas in their boxes. In order to make space, his son has decided, I'll remove the pizzas from their boxes, thus freeing up more room. Great. Fantastic. But in what we will recognise as a classic Jahanic half-a-job fashion, Jahans has just left the pizza boxes on the kitchen counter, stacked knee-high, creating an eyesore of mess that has sent Keith into a mild fury.
I had a computer, right? It was a brilliant computer. I loved it. I coaxed it through installations and I named it and it was brilliant and I loved it and it made my programs run brilliantly and it made my life brilliant and amazing and amazing. And then it broke. And I went to my dad and I said, it's broke. Can you help me? And my dad said, why did you fucking break it? Why didn't you do what I asked you to do? And he got angry that I didn't do what I wanted him to do. Because of the 2020 hindsight bias. The 2020 hindsight bias is essentially, you make a decision that if shit happens, you're going to be up shit creek without a paddle, but it's okay because you've done the maths, so it should be alright if it happens. So you go along about your life, and one day, shit happens, you're up shit creek without a paddle, and you call someone for help, and they're, well, why the fuck didn't you do what I said I'd plan out in case this specific event happened. And it happens when my computer breaks. My dad's like, well, you should have kept the receipt. And it happens when my work randomly erases itself. And my dad's like, well, you should have backed it up every fucking time. And he gets really angry, really irate. Because how fucking dare you not do the one thing that would have stopped this one specific rare scenario? And it's so fucking annoying because I'm like, it seemed reasonable at the time. I didn't know it was going to crash. I did not know that my work was going to be lost. I did not know that the computer was going to break. Yes, alright, I could have planned for it. Yes, alright, I could have said, well, shit happens, so I'm going to have plans in case for when shit happens, and I could have been really very careful and monitored everything, but I made a calculated risk, and I said, you know what, I can't be faffed with that fucking hassle, so I'm not going to do it. And my dad flipped out. My dad could not fucking take it. How the fuck can you see that something bad is going to happen and then do something again? How the fuck can you see that your computer will break, that your work will be erased, and not do everything in your power to prevent that from happening? This happens with fucking computers. This happens with my dad talking to me about computers, about when I don't do the washing up, when I get ill. Anytime some random shit happens that I could have prepared for, that I could have prevented if I did this one specific thing that requires doing this one thing that I would never practically do, and that he does out of a paranoid, well, I will do everything to prevent everything bad happening, and yet bad things still happen, and he still has to go through all the inconvenience I do, except he gets stressed about it because he tries to prevent anything bad happening, but then shit happens anyway, and he ends up just getting stressed. And he does this about computers, and we're both men. Neither of us is a woman being discriminated against. There is no misogyny going on here. This isn't even like it's the fucking TARDIS, and we're saying, well, I beat it, and it didn't work. This is saying that this is a genuinely, separately, two men talking about machinery that's gone wrong, that could have been fixed, and one of them getting very angry because you should have known it would go wrong, and you should have prevented it. And he's angry. He is still genuinely fucking irate that I do not back everything up. That I do not keep every fucking receipt of everything I ever buy. Because when the shit happens, I need it. But for me, it's a calculated risk.
So Jahan's own neglect for the items his father has bought for him, namely a computer, has bit Jahan's on the nose, as it were. Keith is baffled that his son has no concept of long-term planning, has no desire to preserve the things he has until it's far too late. Keith is just trying to impart onto Jahan's a life lesson, but Jahan's is having none of it. To Jahan's, Keith is suffering from a 2020 bias. There's absolutely no way to be able to plan long-term or to be able to see things coming. This is trickery, a retrospective bias. It's worth making note that Jahan's has no concept of planning for the future. June 24th, 2014. We arrive in the immediate aftermath of a showdown between Jahans and Keith. Jahans vents his rage. He is 22 years old.
So, I asked if I could sort out some stuff from my bed and clear out the rubbish. Dad said no, we've got plenty of time. So, I wait until one day he says, actually, today you may clean out the rubbish from your room. So I say, okay, I'll do it tonight. And then at 8 o'clock, not night, not for me, I meant kind of like at midnight onwards, he comes into my room and he suddenly says, I need you to have it all cleaned up tonight. Like, now, please. Just clean it all up now. And I was just like, no, I can't, practically, because, hey, if you wanted me to get it done earlier, you should have let me get it done earlier. But instead, you said it's okay to do it tonight, so I'm gonna do it tonight. And then he had a hissy fit. Then he had a big old shouting match. And he said, I'm turning into my mother. And he left. He took the car, packed his bags, and he left, shouting and swearing and generally insulting me all the fucking time. And I am just like, bitch, what the fuck did I do wrong? I was gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. And now you're just like, fuck it, I've had enough. My family is insane. My family is utterly fucking insane. God, I just needed to. Probably shouldn't be sharing this, but God, I just need to scream.
Jahans has come to an agreement with his father about tidying his room. Keith wants Jahans to clear out the rubbish, but it's likely that this was asked relatively early in the day, as Keith tells Jahans, you have plenty of time. So, being the son that Jahans is, he waits until the very last moment for Keith's head to touch his pillow before he starts dragging and clanging the rubbish bags down the stairs, making as much noise as he possibly can. Keith wanted Jahans to get this all over and done with by 8 PM at the latest. Instead, Jahans wants to do it from midnight onwards. No regard for the other people in the household trying to get some sleep. But Keith knows that there is no reasoning with his son. He's turning into his mother. So Keith bails. He leaves the house, probably to check into a Holiday Inn, so that he can get some bloody sleep.
And then I was going to sleep, and couldn't sleep, so I decided, fuck it, I'm going to make a video on, why communism is fucking scary to me. And then my dad decides to hoover outside my room at 8 AM, just as I'm about to go to bed. And he proceeds to follow me around the house, screaming about how I'm lazy, screaming about how all I do is take, saying outright to me, you know what, you're dependent on me, if you don't do as I say, you're fucked. If you don't do as I say, you don't get food, you have to do as I say, you have no other option.
A year later, and Jahans is still up to his old tricks. Keith is trying to get some shut-eye, but Jahans is trying his best to make that not the case, as he rants and raves about communism in the bedroom next door. But Keith has finally had enough. He waits for Jahans to stop shouting. It's likely that Jahans is now ready to sleep. And he gets the Dyson out and starts hoovering the landing. Well played. And as Jahans comes out of his room to rage at his father, Keith lays down some much-needed home truths. Also, nobody who is unemployed should ever have to say the words, "just as I was getting ready to get to sleep at 8 a.m.
If you want to leave, leave. And you know, it was very simple. It was like, you do as I want, or go and starve. And he kept badgering me, and this is why trolls don't get to me, okay? Because I live with this man. I live with this man who, when he gets upset and angry, he just wants to destroy me. He does his best with his words and with his physicality. He's quite an intimidating man to just try and destroy me and scare me, and he is the one person who can actually get under my skin. And he's following me around, screaming, going, "You have to do as I say. All you do is take. You're so selfish, you're so lazy." And Dad decides to poke. And they're annoying you, what are you doing? You poke. Basically, not in the mood to have his arsehole dad scream in his face about how you have to do as I say or you're gonna starve. So I pushed back. And that's the moment I got scared. Because that acting up is something that's happened my entire life. But it was the moment I realised how fucking easy it is now to push Dad around that gave me pause. I am terrified of becoming a monster, you know. I killed 2 fish once to make a compost heap because I was a weirdo kid. And I've basically been terrified ever since that, you know, that's kind of a bad omen about my character. I am so fascinated by darkness because I'm terrified of my own darkness. And he's a man who can get under my skin. A man I've been terrified of my entire life. And he is poking and prodding and goading and goading and goading. And now, having spent a year playing video games and, you know, basically lying on a bed the entire time, and with, you know, not enough testosterone, and kind of half mad, I have the ability to very easily push him around. I could beat Dad hands down in a fight now, and the bastard can still get under my skin, and when he's angry, he still goads me and goads me and goads me into trying to attack him. Probably because if I do finally lash out, he can then say from the hospital bed, "Look what he did to me! Arrest him!"
In this extract, Jahans admits that he has come to the revelation that his father is now an old man, and that he can probably push Dad around. And this scares Jahans. It scares him because he recognizes that he is teetering on the edge of becoming a monster. A monster that may even be capable of taking the life of his own father. In the same breath, Jahans describes his father as an intimidating man in terms of his physicality. Let's remind ourselves of Keith's appearance. Now, hold your horses. You need to take a deep breath and look again, because this is not the Incredible Hulk. This is Keith.
And when Dad got the money after doing violent things and saying he was going to get us sectioned, cutting the power to the house, cutting the internet to pick fights, and, pushing me around and stealing my stuff and being genuinely a person who is quite intimidating after all of this stuff, and even just lately basically blackmailing me emotionally, saying that he would commit suicide unless I did the fucking washing up. Which, alright, like, I fully understand and accept, and I've never not fully understood and accepted that yes, okay, I should be doing washing up, but fundamentally the way he is, this cycle is not good. And his latest thing was cutting the money, and my mum can't support me on her own. And I'm telling you this because I need you to understand why I did what I did next, because I felt like I had no other options. I felt like I was effectively a dead man.
Jahans is unusually morose, isn't he? He seems almost riddled by guilt, by shame. And we ask, what has he done? Namely, what has he done to his own father? This moment in Jahans' life coincided with him finally starting treatment for his Kalman syndrome, treatment which involved high dosages of testosterone being injected into him. The mixture of the testosterone and Jahans' growing feelings that he could take his father in a fight create a perfect storm, where Jahans takes his chances and starts to make his move on Keith.
I decided that I had one option left, which was that if he's gonna use physical violence and intimidation, so would I, but I would be better at it. So I ran home and I called him out. And it was only that he quietly got his keys and left that some part of my morality was like, I'm not gonna beat up a man who's fucking running away. And so I go to Nightwatch Geek Fest and I make some friends there, some really good people, and I talk about my situation because one thing leads to another, and I talk. I get expressing my perspective, and he basically said, somewhat facetiously, cut his brake lines. And I'm not gonna do that, I'm never gonna do that, but I mean, I had already decided before I went to Nine Watts Geek Fest that if he wanted a fight, I would give him one. So it comes time to leave, and at the moment, me and Dad are kind of, well, he's back to being Dr. Jekyll. Okay, he's back to being Dr. Jekyll because before I went to Nine Watts Geek Fest, after literally the day after I ran home and basically was like, come on then, let's have a fight, he gave me some money and he gave me a lift. And I was keep and he was quite kind, you know, he said, you know, you're gonna have to get on benefits, but it's like fine. You know, at that point it's the same pattern of, okay, he's back to being Dr. Jekyll, I can live with this. I'm done being the victim. I'm done running away. I'm done reacting. I'm done crying. And so I'm not willing to play the game anymore. I'm not willing to, you know, entertain Mr. Jekyll. I'm not willing to entertain Dr. Jekyll because I know that he can be Mr. Hyde. So there's a fractiousness in the car, there's a tiff in the car, and he explains that Mum asked him to give me a lift to Ashford Hospital for my glucagon test. Something that I had specifically told him multiple times I didn't want to happen because I did not trust him. So this is a man that I genuinely hate, with an aching in my bones because of all of the horrible things he has done, because of all of the times he has made me feel terrified and ashamed and kicked me while I am down, that I was gonna be violent, be intimidating, that I was gonna sling my great big dick around and say that I'm the fucking guy in charge. So I give him 10 minutes. Literally start my timer. And sure enough, I after those 10 minutes are up, I quite calmly decide to go downstairs, open the door, the front door of the house, and go into his room and literally force him out of the house, literally lift him up out of the chair and force him out of the house. Now, of course, there is one very obvious piece of flawed logic to this, which is that even supposing I could have done that, he's got the fucking keys to the house. And then he said he's going to call the police, and this is a man who has been playing with mine and my mother's minds for as long as I can fucking remember. This is a man who will say he's going to get us sectioned. So when he says, I'll call the police, I don't believe him. He called the police. 3 policemen came over, and I did my best to remain calm and civil. I was, you know, trying to be as calm and civil as possible, but fundamentally my body was rushing with all sorts of endorphins and emotions, and I was trying to sort of sit there and be calm and quiet and explain and be calm and explain and answer as best as I could, just with tears streaming down my face. I mean, I was given a caution. I was, read the Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do say will be given in evidence against you. You do not have to say anything more question, but anything you do say can be given in evidence against you, and I was just very open and honest about the fact that, yeah, I was the dick this time. I pushed him, and he reacted, so he reacted as kind of feels justified to. And as a result, I might have hurt him. And I was given given a caution. I was told to take a walk for an hour and to tidy my room. So yeah, that's how pathetic I am. Told to tidy my room by a police sergeant.
So the events that Jahans has just related would surely have any loving son recoiling in horror. This is a 23-year-old man, unemployed, who decides one day to start taking his anger out on his father, who decides that he should carry his own father out of the house which he's paid the mortgage on for the past 25 years, and who is told by the police to tidy his room. I honestly, really feel bad for Keith in this situation. The further and further his son has testosterone injections, the more his life is at risk. But Jahans here seems genuinely repentant, doesn't he? And he has devised a way in which he shall be dissolved of all his sins. He decides that he shall watch 2 girls, 1 cup, and the disgust which he will feel upon seeing it will match the pain he inflicted onto his own father.
So, I am going to watch 2 girls, 1 cup. Let the horror show begin. Yes, I think that ought to make up for an eternity of exquisite pain. And my dad's concerned attempts stop me being a loser involved bullying me until I changed my ways. This doesn't work. A year of my dad screaming, just get a job, as if that makes a difference. This is a bastard who is kicking me while I am down, consistently. And my dad drops a fucking towel and loses his shit. And he screams in my face as I am lying there, trying not to kill myself. You're a baby, you're a fucking baby. Look at yourself, you're a fucking baby. But you're not making any money though, are you, Alex? It's not gonna pay the bills, is it, Alex? Well, it's not gonna fucking matter if I kill myself, is it, Dad? Because this is the thing that the Tories and my fucking dad don't realise, okay? If you decide to use the stick to motivate someone, then there is going to come a point when they don't care how hard or how fast or how often you fucking swing that stick, because actually they want to die.
A quick interjection. It is here that we can hear Keith walking across the landing outside Jahan's room. There is another such recorded example of this, which we shall arrive at later, but it's worth noting that Jahan's will only pause momentarily before striding on regardless.
Because after threatening violence, after threatening to get me sectioned, after coming at me, crying, screaming, I don't know what to do, and saying that he's suicidal and that the only way that he will stop killing himself is if I do the fucking washing up. I mean, how screwed up is that? This guy, after doing so many different things, he's finally like, well, fine then, I'll cut your money. Well, fine then, I will stop your mum from getting you any money. I will make it so that you are dependent on the fucking scraps you can find in the house. My dad is just desperately trying to trap me. He's desperately trying to trap me, saying that if I treat you shittily enough, you will obey me! No! If you treat me shittily enough, I will kill myself, and you have wasted all that fucking money! I mean, let's be honest, that's what this is about! If you loved me, you would not have spent so long fucking manipulating me, manipulating my mother. But nah, man, just get a job. Just get a job. It doesn't matter how hard you quack that whip. It doesn't matter how hard you kick me in the arse. It doesn't matter how many times you break my fucking bones. It doesn't matter how many times you're screaming in my face that I'm a loser and I'm a stupid idiot and I'm a fucking baby. It doesn't matter how many times you beg and cry and scream and say that you are useless and nothing and worthless. That is not going to make me get a fucking job. That is going to make me kill myself and waste all of your fucking money. I'm just so fucking sick and so fucking tired of the tantrums and the mind games and the manipulation and so I guess what this is me nailing my fucking colours to the mast, saying, alright, Dad. Alright. So I can't be violent towards you. I don't have the ability to just get a job to leave. But you will never take my soul. You will never make me sit down and fucking obey. I would genuinely rather fucking die.
This was Jahan's Braveheart speech. He is Mel Gibson, he is William Wallace, declaring to his army that the enemy may take his life, but they will never, ever take his freedom. 20th of August, 2015. Jahan's gives us a little potted history of his tumultuous relationship with his father, and something is revealed which gives us an insight into Keith's psyche. His wife, of many years, wants a divorce. The two separate, and then she starts to see another man. Keith is broken, he really is. Also in this extract, Jahan's gives a far more spirited account of him ejecting Keith from his own home. This is in contrast to the sober, morose tone he took in the Two Girls One Cup video. It begs the question, doesn't it? Was that just insincerity? Was his apparent guilt and humiliation an act?
So I'm at university, and Dad's been kicking off, you know. Whenever I'm home over the summer, it's kind of, you know, difficult and stuff. When I'm home over Christmas, you know, he kicks off and stuff, and there's issues. So me and Mum are like, fuck this, we need to go. We get things packed. We buy a laptop so I have my safe space to go if I need to. And then he manipulates her and gets her to steal £500 from me. Cue final year of university, with me basically shitting myself, going, okay, when I leave university, I'm going to commit suicide if I go back home to Woking. This is going to be so fucking bad. Then, Christmas, Dad's alright. Dad's alright. And, you know, the Christmas goes fairly well. I mean, there's issues, but it goes fairly well. And then at the end, there is this kind of warning, which is that essentially somebody let slip, I forget who, it might have been my sister, but essentially somebody let slip that, oh yeah, whilst I was away at university in my final year, you know, in the months leading up to Christmas, my mum tried to divorce Dad, and Dad was like freaking out, calling his lawyers and trying to get her sectioned and all kinds of stuff. Then, continue with my final year of university, do my dissertation, and my dad turns up in a fucking Volkswagen, not Beetle, Volkswagen camper van. And it's like, yeah, so we're going off camping because, yeah, your mum's separating me. And then it kind of goes downhill from there. My dad's being separated now, and he was, you know, I mean, we were freaking out about him before, but, you know, when my mum starts, you know, seeing other people and stuff, he kind of goes off the rails and starts being even more dangerous. And, oh yeah, I'm spending all my time with him, and he's spending all my, you know, because I have no job, I'm unemployed, and he's retired. So we're spending an awful lot of time together, and it's kind of like Jekyll and Hyde, where it's like, I have no money, I depend on him. So when he's being Dr. Jekyll, when he's being nice, I take advantage of that, and then when he becomes Mr. Hyde, he's like, you accepted all the things I gave you when I was nice, therefore you must do all the things that I want you to do now that I'm being nasty. Hello, Ronnie. Hello, my little kitten. Sorry, my cat's just come in. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's it. Jump on the bed. That's it. Good little cat. And so, you know, things been going bad and going bad and going bad, and recently, like, just before Nine Worlds Geek Fest, the shit hits the fan. The shit thoroughly hits the fan. I mean, my dad basically threatens to commit suicide unless I do what he wants. Then he cuts my money, and I go away and as a result, my mum says, hey, you need to go on benefits, and I end up running away from the Citizens Advice Bureau, you know, pumped up and ready for a fight, because that's it, I'm fucked now. I'm fucked. If I go on benefits and I get a benefit sanction, that's it, I'm dead. So I go home and I'm like, fine, fuck it, let's have the all-out brawl. Let's have the fucking all-out brawl. You keep wanting to have a fight, you keep picking on me, fine, let's fucking have it now. Dad has the good sense to run away. Okay. And it's important to mention that, very, very important. Because then I basically do something that I suppose lights the blue touch paper. I I decide to go on the offensive with my dad. I say, fuck it, I don't want you here. You're here because essentially my mum said something that I specifically said that she shouldn't. And so I want you gone. I tried to force him out of the house, and the police were called, and it ended up that essentially I was scared off into never doing it again, which is fair enough, I don't plan to, but the point is that after that point it was like, okay, this is it. You know, this is the fucking end times, you know.
The 28th of August, 2015, and yet another example of Jahan stopping mid-sentence as we hear Keith move around the house. This isn't a man who's menacing anyone. It's just a man who's moving freely in the home he's paid for. Keith likely wants to go to the lavatory, or he wants to pop downstairs to see if there are any Scotch eggs in the fridge. Keith is an innocent man.
But, essentially,
The talent on show is abundant, and I strongly recommend that you partake in its delights. It's all set out by that author fellow, Jack Lindsay, in his wonderful book, Coggrell's Mill. Allow me to read a short passage to you, and you will understand what I mean.
I've just placed a further extract from Keith's Absolute Nectar video because I want the image of Keith, his mannerisms, the affectation to his voice. I want the sensory experience of Keith to be with you as we move through the following video, published September the 2nd, 2015. If you're not already seeing through the lies of Jahan, then I hope with this section of the case study that you shall. Also, in the upcoming extract, we are finally told of the details of the much-teased towel story. It becomes apparent that Jahan has cut his own hair, wrapped the clippings in a towel, thrown it at his father, who has then dropped it. Keith has then blew his lid in response to something that, contrary to protestations, is entirely Jahan's fault.
I mean, my dad is someone I've been terrified of my entire life. I have had an intense hatred and fear of the man, and I have never felt safe in my house and in my room because the fucker would invade my room. Because he will get upset, something will piss him off, and he will pick a fight. I will be minding my own business in my room, doing stuff, or I'll go downstairs for a snack, and suddenly he wants a fight, and we're doing this now, okay? And he will follow me, and stalk me, and scream in my face, and insult me, and berate me, and it's like if 4chan is 6'4", following you around in your day-to-day life. And I'm growing up with this man. This man who screams at me that I'm a fucking baby because I cut my hair, folded the fucking hair up in a towel, and he drops the fucking towel, getting hair everywhere, and somehow that's my fault. Yeah, you dropped a fucking towel, and you fucked it up. And no, that's me. You gotta lecture your fucking suicidal son because you know he had hair in the fucking towel that you dropped. You know, it's like saying, well, I fucked it up, but you know, I couldn't have fucked it up if it wasn't there to be fucked up. So it's your fault. No, it's your fault actually. This fucker has thrown pizza boxes, he's thrown baking trays, he's thrown me across the fucking room. I remember being taken into the fucking garage to have my ass smacked by him as a fucking kid. I hate the man. I have been punched in the nose. And my mum doesn't feel safe here. She doesn't feel safe in her own fucking home because of that goddamn man. That goddamn man who, by the way, is like 5 fucking meters from my room. Always. Because he's retired and I don't have a job because the Tories fucked up the economy. He's the one man who is ever stupid and angry and persistent and hateful enough to make me be violent towards him, right? And I've kind of, as a result, grown up with this kind of terror deep in my soul, this kind of forbidden weapon of mass destruction that, you know what, that fucker could actually make me violent at some point. And I've been terrified of that my whole fucking life, that one day he's gonna piss me off and I'm not gonna know when to stop. I've been terrified of that my whole fucking life, that one day he's gonna cross a line somehow. One day he's gonna pick a fight and I'm gonna be the one that fucking ends it. I've been terrified of that my entire fucking life. If I start hitting, I don't know when I'm gonna stop. And that's him at the doorway right now, so I am fucking glad that I am recording this and live streaming this, so if he bursts in that fucking door and beats me the fuck up, then you fuckers will see it. So basically, right, he started threatening to throw out my stuff, to throw away my DVDs, and at this point, it was just like, okay, you're escalating things. You're escalating things, but I'm 6 foot now. So what I did was I hugged him. I hugged the fucker. And I let him know that even though he's fucking terrifying to me, even though he makes me so goddamn angry that I genuinely worry that I could hurt him, that I could kill him in my anger and rage should he ever actually be fucking stupid enough to make me do that, I let him know through hugging him that I'm not afraid to lay hands on him in the middle of an argument, that he's screaming and shouting and pathetic insults, and that his belittling doesn't fucking mean shit, that I will get close and I will lay my hands on him because I am not going to be afraid of him anymore. I mean, I am. The bastard fucking terrifies me. That's why I'm recording this fucking video, because I have to live with that man fucking 5 meters from me every single fucking day. That's why I'm goddamn nocturnal, because it genuinely sets me on edge hearing him walking back and forth outside the door. But I have to let him know that if he's gonna pick a fight, I don't mind fucking defending myself. I have to let the fucker know that if he's gonna get violent, I will defend myself and he will fucking lose, because if I don't, then the fucker might actually end up causing me to fight him. He has screamed in my face that he is suicidal. He has told me, he has broken down in tears saying he doesn't know what to do, He has basically said that if the only way he will not commit suicide is if I do the washing up. And after he cut the money, after shit got rock bottom, I had to sign up for benefits. I had to. Bureau, I was just like, okay, I need to go home and I need to make that man start paying my fucking money again. And I just say, alright, fuck it. This is me saying that I want the fucking fight. This is me saying that I am gonna be the fucking one making you scared. And the goddamn fucker, he walks the fuck out of the house calmly, quietly, and I don't act because there's some shred of fucking self-control and morality that's like, no, the fucker is walking the hell away, you don't fucking act. So I go to Nine Worlds Geek Fest and I have a brilliant time, a brilliant time. I meet amazing people, I make amazing amazing friends, and it's truly wonderful and magical. But I explained to someone my situation with my father, with essentially the shit that I am in. And, you know, the reaction that one of the people I speak to just says, cut his fucking brakes. Kill the fucker. And so as far as I'm concerned, the fucker is home when he shouldn't be. Okay? He's been ruling by terror my entire goddamn fucking life. So I say, fuck it! 15 minutes, start the fucking timer, get the fuck out of my house! And when the 15 minutes are up, I start pushing him out the fucking house. And he's like, I'll call the police! Call the police! And he fucking calls the police. And the police turn up. And I have to sit there and kind of calmly explain the reasons why I was terrified of the benefit system, why I decided to kick my dad out. I have to basically give them a potted history of the fucking abuse and listen to this fucking policewoman who doesn't understand the situation in the fucking context say, but he was just being a good father. No, he fucking wasn't! But he owns the house, don't you know? Yeah, and he's got the fucking money to live elsewhere. I don't. He can fucking go. But having to sit there and listen to this someone who's like, protect and serve, telling me that my abusive father is totally right and everything. And, you know, I'm totally wrong to defend myself. And now today, the fucker, out of nowhere, says, we need to talk. And he said, if you ever do that again, I'll call the police and I'll have you arrested. What the fuck did I do? What the fuck did I fucking do?
Well, apart from throwing him out of his own house, raging death threats into a camera as he's trying to get some shut-eye, hurling derogatory names at him at every opportunity, forcing him to give you money because you refuse to get a job, and abjectly dismissing any requests for you to clean your bedroom, apart from all of that, I have absolutely no idea what you did, Jahans. I guess we're all in the dark.
I'm here. And I am so much fucking tastier than those arseholes. Come on. Look at me. Look at me. Come on. You know you want to fucking play with these tits. You know you want to look this guy in the eye and punch him in the fucking nose. Come on, you fuckers. I'm right fucking here. Take your best fucking shot. Because I'm not a fucking saint. I fight dirty. I fucking boast about censoring goddamn UKippers. I pledge to fight fucking dirty. I am fucking open and honest about the fact that I purge people, that I purge the right-wingers, the fact that my channel and my Facebook fan page is left-wing propaganda. I don't fucking care. I am honest about the fact that I'm not a nice man. I am honest about the fact that I am someone who may have a fucking rule set and morality, but I'm not a nice person. I have a morality because I don't trust myself to be a fucking nice man without that morality. I am not nice. There is a reason that I fucking hate myself.
Here we are then. We've heard Jahans' various accounts of apparent abuse that he suffered at the hands of his father. Yet the actual evidence points to the son, Jahans, abusing the father, Keith. But if we are to take Jahans at face value, if we weren't to pass the subtext, if we were to ignore the facts and accept Jahans' version of events, then the question that must be asked is, what is Keith's problem? Why is he this way? What happened? What happened to Keith? I'm going to say 2 words, and let Jahans do the rest. In fact, I'll hold back those 2 words until Jahans has finished.
So, a thing happened. Okay. A thing happened, and I can't talk about it. I cannot talk about this, but that's not good enough for me. Because you see, I am honest, shameless, moral, and this here thing, this is a shameful, secret, amoral thing. So I'm going to talk about it without talking about it. Basically, someone, and I'm not going to name names, someone lied. They have been basically lying to me my entire life. I know that you have the capacity to betray me, and now I know that you are so good at lying that you can keep a massive, massive secret for 20 years. You can lie to my face day after day after day for 20 fucking years. That makes a difference. That fucking matters. Okay? Because I already don't trust you. I'm a little worried about you. And now I know that you could be lying about anything. Because this person's reaction is not, I'm sorry. This person's reaction is not, there were extenuating circumstances. I did what I had to do. It's fucking awful. But I did it. I'm sorry. How the fuck do we move forward? No, they are just like, no, how dare you have a problem with this? It's my life, it's my privacy, it's my... You're lied for 20 fucking years!
Right, so if you haven't already guessed it, the two words that I was going to reveal are wife's affair. Jahan's mother had a long-term affair with a fancy man, and thus has likely left Keith a paranoid, broken, nervous wreck. It really is quite horrendous. I feel for Keith. His life is unravelling, and all the while his own son, his own flesh and blood, is knocking him about. His son, with the advent of bull-like levels of testosterone jacking him up, has become a monster. And this is a monster who Keith is locked in a house with 24/7.
So, things weren't good yesterday. They weren't good. I got a little bit angry. I got a little tiny bit angry. Yeah, that wasn't good. I see this fucker that I made the fucking video about. Because here's the thing, right? He pesters. Like, genuinely, I did so much shouting that I made myself feel ill. But the fact that I made myself ill from shouting so much, yeah, that means that I gave a shit. I gave a shit, and that wasn't good. Little fucker got a fucking hit him. But this guy is like some fucking zombie or something. He's, you know, no, he's worse than a zombie. You know, he's a triffid. You know, he is persistent. He is smart. He is clever. He is. Oh yes, I see it. Can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? Poof. Yeah. Ah, there's a ray right here. Yes. Hello. I'd like to talk to you. Poof. Ah, right here. Yes. Hello. Hello. Please. Poof. Fuck off.
get the fucking message. I do not want to talk to you. You are not going to have any kind of interesting debate with me. If you insist on having any kind of debate at this point, all the debate will be, fuck off, I hate you. Fuck off, I don't care. Fuck off, go away. I don't care. Think that you have the moral high ground. Think that you win all the arguments ever. I give you this to you. You may... Okay, like, genuinely, I say this to you now. All your points are valid. Your points win. I am the suckiest of the suck. Now fuck off. Fuck off. I don't care. I will stop you. 'Cause, you see, I'm not gonna let anyone, for no fucked up reason, decide that they take precedence over me. Donald Trump, the fact that he is a insane, stupid, genocidal, bigoted fuckwit is not the scariest thing about him. Dear UKIP voters, just how fucking screwed up I am. How screwed the fuck up. Get rid of the fucking guns! Get rid of the guns! It is not worth it. People are being killed by goddamn dogs because of your guns. Okay? Well, you know, it's just people who kill people. No! Dogs kill people with fucking guns. Get rid of the guns. Get rid of them. Now! No guns! All guns go! Get rid of the guns.
I want you to do something for me. I want you to go home. I want you to find your parents. I want you to find your father. And I want you to hug him. I want you to hold him tight. And I want you to tell him that you love him. It should not be this way. It should not be a relationship where you're actively sizing up your own father so that you can consider whether you can throw him out of his own house. You should not be having to consider that your life takes precedence over your own father's. It should not be this way. The Jahans-Keith dynamic, the relationship has deteriorated into one that I don't recognize as something that's loving, as something that for thousands of years has been one of the very foundations of civilization. The Jahans-Keith dynamic is a symptom. It's a symptom of a cultural Marxism that's infected society, that's eroded institutions that we once held sacred, namely the institution of family. Jahans has no respect for Keith because he doesn't need to. He believes he doesn't need to. No one has ever told him that he needs to honor his father, that he needs to show some sort of respect for the breadwinner of the household. Why should he? When all that is around him preaches hatred to one's own family. It shouldn't be this way. Go home, love your bloody dad, right? Go home, hug your parents, tell them you're always going to be there for them. Use Jahans as a cautionary tale. I beg of you, please. If you don't, then you are just another one of these many, many father-son relationships in the West at the moment, which is going through the same thing that Jahans and Keith have been going through. Because you know it, and I know it. Jahans, Keith, those shenanigans, they are not isolated. They don't exist in a bubble. Instead, they are symptomatic of a society that's lost its moral fabric. I hope you stick around. I'm back with a new channel, and please subscribe. Thank you.